Good morning, everyone. Today we will discuss about operator overloading. We have already discussed function overloading in our previous video. It is also a part of polymorphism. Operator overloading is also polymorphism. That means we can achieve polymorphism in many ways, out of which function overloading we have already studied. Now today we are studying about operator overloading. So as we have already discussed in our previous video that what is basically polymorphism. Polymorphism basically means many forms, one name and many form. Their name of all the functions will be same, but their task will be different. Whatever is their definition, it will be different. So here poly means basically many and morphism means forms, one name and many forms. So polymorphism can be achieved by using two ways, either through compile time polymorphism or through runtime polymorphism. Compile time polymorphism basically means when compiler is able to decide that which function it has to execute at the compile time, that is known as compile time polymorphism. And runtime means at the runtime only compiler will decide that which function it has to execute. Now, again, compile time polymorphism, as I told you, for achieving compile time polymorphism, we use basically overloading functions. So either we can use method overloading or we can use operator overloading. In our previous video, we have already discussed regarding method overloading. So this is the same, like compile time polymorphism is achieved either through function overloading or operator overloading. Function overloading and method overloading both are same thing. Now today we are going to discuss regarding operator overloading. So basically operator overloading is a type of polymorphism in which we assign a different meaning to a predefined operator. An operator is already defined and we are going to assign different meaning to that particular operator. So operator overloading is, we can say it is one of the many important feature or exciting feature of C++ language. It is important technique because it is used to enhance the power of the operators which are provided by the C++. Now we have already studied that there are many kind of C++ operators and they are also used. There can be like user defined data types are also there which we can use according to the requirement. So C++ allows us to add two variables of user defined data type with the same syntax as it is applied to the basic types. Like for an example, if we say that plus operator is used to add two values. Now, if we are using this again the same plus operator to add two strings, then normally it is not possible. But if we are using operator overloading, then we can use plus operator to add two strings as well. Normally we use plus operator to add two values, either integer, double, float, whatever values we are supplying. But if we are using plus operator to perform addition on the string, then it is done with the help of operator overloading. So when we add two strings, then it is known as basically concatenation. So operator overloading provides, we can say, a flexible options for creation of new definition for almost all the operators of C++. Whatever operator C++ provide, all those operators can be overloaded besides few operators which cannot be overloaded. So we can overload all the C++ operators except few operators. The operators which cannot be overloaded are, first is a scope resolution operator, which is represented with the help of two colons. Then we also cannot overload size of operator. Then a member selector operator. Member selector operator is simply a dot operator which is used to access the member functions of the class outside the class scope with the help of an object. So that is basically a member selector operator. Then member pointer selector. This is basically a pointer symbol. This operator also we cannot overload. And the last is the conditional operator, or we can say ternary operator. We cannot overload ternary operator also. So these are basically the excluded operators which are or which cannot be overloaded. By using any operator overloading definition, we cannot overload these particular operators. Now talking about the syntax of operator overloading. So the syntax of operator overloading, we can say if we have to define any additional task to an operator, so we must specify that what it means in the relation to the class to which the operator is applied. So it is done with the help of special function, and that function is known as operator function. So we have to use a keyword operator for it. So this is the general form of syntax. First we have to specify the return type, either int, float, double, void, whatever it is. Then we have to specify the name of the class. Then we have to again use the SRO operator. Then we have to use the operator keyword, or we can say this is the special operator function with the help of which only we are going to overload our operator. Then we have to specify the symbol, operator symbol which we want to overload, like plus, minus, whatever operator we want to overload. And then we have to specify the list of the argument or the parameters. And after that, whatever is the task which is defined by the operator overloading, whatever is the functions which we have to calculate, that is specified in the body of that particular function. So here return type is the type of the value which is returned by the specified operations, and operator symbol is basically the operator which we want to overload, and this operator symbol is preceded by the keyword operator. So this operator keyword is the operator function which we were talking, that it is a special member function with the help of which we are going to overload the operator. So operator function must be either member function or friend function. It can be anything. So in this way, this is the general syntax through which we can overload our operator, any operator. So the process of overloading will involve some steps which we have to keep in mind. First, we have to create a class that will define the data type that is used to overload the operator. Then the second main step is we have to declare the operator function which we were talking about, and operator function will be like, we have to also specify the symbol which we have to overload, and then we have to define the operator function which is like implemented to require to calculate or to execute the required operations. In this way, we define our operator overloading. Now we are going to see one program of operator overloading. Operator overloading is used to overload both the unary as well as binary operator. We can overload both unary as well as binary operator with the help of operator overloading. So today we are going to study about how we overload the unary operator. Unary operator, everybody knows this. Unary operators are the operators which take single operand or which operate on single value. They are known as unary operators. So first we are going to write program that will overload unary operator. First I'm going to just write the program, then we're going to discuss it in brief. I use stream.h. I'm putting the header files. Then I have to create class space. Then in private, I am declaring 3 variables, int x, y, z. Then in public, I'm using 3 functions. One is the void get data, and this I am passing 3 arguments, int abc, we'll give the definition of all these functions outside the class scope. So inside the class, we are just declaring the functions, and after that void operator, and since we are overloading unary operators, so today we are going to see program of minus operator, that is an unary operator. Now this is the end of our class scope. Now we are going to define the functions here. For definition of a function outside the class scope, first we have to specify the return type of the function, then we have to specify the name of the class, then the SRO operator, then the name of the function with arguments. Whatever function we have to define or give the definition, we'll give definition of that particular function with arguments. Now in this, we are simply assigning the values. Whatever value is of A is transferred to X, then Y equals to B, Z equals to C. Now we are going to give definition of the second function, that was display. Again, the method will be same. We have to first specify the data type, then the name of the class, then SRO, and then the name of the function, what is going to perform. And then we have to give the definition of that particular function. So here we can write X equals to whatever definition we have to specify, X, and then we have simply displayed the value, whatever value of X, Y, and Z was supplied through the get data function. Now the main thing comes where we have to specify the different meaning to the operator, for which we have to use keyword operator. Then we have to use the symbol which we have to overload. We were overloading the minus operator. Now we'll simply give the definition, whatever we want to perform that. So this is simply whatever was the value of X, Y, Z, we have just overloaded by using the minus operator. We'll just change the sign of those values. Now we'll use main function. So void main. First we are going to see the program, then I'll explain you each and everything. This I have just declared the object, and with the help of object I'm now calling the function get data, and in this function we have to pass 3 values. So I'm passing 3 values to it, 10, minus 20, and 30. And then I'm just displaying one message that before overloading, what will be the result before overloading? Then s dot display, we're using the display function, and then we have to overload the operator, and then again we'll simply write a message what is after overloading. And then again we have to use the display function just to display the values, and finally the get ch. So now we'll just have a quick review on the program. As I told you that this program is used to demonstrate to unary operators. So unary operators are basically the operators which need only a single operand. Uh, Only one data which just works on only one data, they are known as unary operators. So first we have declared one class name as a space. In this I have used three variables x, y, z in private mode, and in public mode we have declared three functions. One is the get data function. This particular function is just used to get input from the user. Then this is the display function to display the values, and next is the operator. This is the main part where we are overloading the minus operator. So as I told you, when we have to overload any operator, then we have to use first the keyword, return type void, then we'll use the operator keyword, then we'll simply use the symbol of the operator which we want to overload. Now we are giving the definition of all these functions outside the class scope. So we all know that to give the definition of the function outside the class scope, first we have to use the data type or return type. So here return type for get data function is void. So we are going to write void. Then we have to specify the name of the class to which this particular function belongs to. So we all know that get data function belongs to the class space. So we are writing the name of the class, that is a space. And after that we have to use SRO operator, and then we have to use the name of the function of which we are giving the definition. So the name of the function is get data, and we have also have to use the argument or the parameters which we have initially declared. So here you can see that we have to use SRO operator to give definition of a function outside the class scope, and that is the reason that we are not, like, this particular operator cannot be overloaded. So in this particular function, we have simply transferred the value of ABC. Whatever was the value of ABC will get transferred to X, Y, and Z respectively. And after that, this is a display function in which we have just displayed the values of X, Y, Z, what it gets from the get data function. All those values are just displayed. And this is the main part where we are overloading the minus operator. If you can recall the syntax of overloading, operator overloading, then I told you that first we have to specify the return type. So here return type is void. Then we have to specify the name of the class. So the name of the class was a space. Then again we have to specify the SRO. Then we have to use the keyword operator, and after that we have to use the symbol which we are going to overload. So here we are going to overload minus operator. So here we have written minus. And after that, if there are any kind of argument, then we can pass along with the operator symbols. Since in our example, we have not used any kind of arguments or parameters, so we have not passed. So in this particular function, what we have given, we have changed the definition of the variables which were declared x, y, z. Whatever is the value of x, y, z, it will be preceded by a minus sign. If the value of x is 1, then it will be preceded by minus, so the value of x will become minus 1. Similarly, if the value of y is 2, so it will become minus 2. So just a minus symbol will be preceded before the value. Now this is the main part. In the main part, first we have declared the object S of the class space. Now with the help of object, again you can see here we are using member operator. This dot is a member operator, and I told you that this particular operator also cannot be overloaded because this operator is used to call a particular function outside the class scope. So first we have used the get data function with the help of an object, and we have passed three values 10, minus 20 and 30. So these values will be transferred to A, B and C respectively, and the value A, whatever is the value of A, that will be transferred to X, whatever is the value of B transferred to Y, value of C will be transferred to Z. So value of A was 10, so hence now the value of X will be 10, value of Y will be minus 20 since we have passed minus 20 in place of B, and value of Z will be 30. And after that, we have just displayed one message before overloading, and when we'll use display function, so display function will simply display the values of x, y, z, whatever we have passed. Now after that, we have overloaded this operator minus. So when this particular minus s compiler will read, so it will activate the operator function which we have overloaded. So in this definition, we have simply preceded minus in front of the value. Whatever is the value, it will be preceded by minus. So if the value of x, as you can see, if the value of x that we have passed was 10, so it will be preceded by minus. That means the value of x now become minus 10. Value of y now becomes 20 because it was already minus 20, and value of z becomes minus 30. And after that, again, we have used the display function. Now we are going to run this program and we are going to see the output. See, before overloading, the value of x was 10, y was minus 20, and z was 30, which we have only passed in the main part. And when we have overload this particular operator, then the value of x is now minus 10, value of y becomes 20. Why? Because the previous value of y was minus 20, and we have preceded minus in front of minus 20, so minus minus will become plus, so hence the value of y will be 20 and value of z is minus 30. So in this way, all other unary operators can also be overloaded. In our next video, we are going to see how to overload the binary operators. Thank you.